Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name's Lielette Calleja, and I would just love to make sure that everyone can hear me. So we have 1 hour to get through all the functionalities that involve money in. So the most important part, I believe, of any business is getting money in. Who am I? Some of you probably know who I am, but those of you who don't, I run a business called All That Counts here in Sydney. I've been running this for 12 years, and in the last 3 years I've actually been part of the QuickBooks trainer and writer network as well. So what I predominantly do is I do help small business owners with their accounting solutions, and predominantly that's with QuickBooks. So we do provide a lot of one-to-one training as well, but we also do group sessions like this, which is great. So I am an advanced online user of QuickBooks, but you know, like with anything in the cloud, things change overnight. So we can only know as much as we know yesterday. So bear with me. If there is something you want to know and I don't have the answer for, I will do my best to find out for you. So what I would encourage, if you're all in front of your computers, I would encourage you to get onto Chrome and log into your QuickBooks file, because it's great if you can actually work along with me as I take you through all the different topics today in the Money In. And later on, I'm not sure if you are aware, but QuickBooks has a lot of communities that you can connect with. So feel free to connect with the team through their Facebook group, their Twitter account, and their LinkedIn. So it's great for, I guess, asking questions and just, you know, just to be connected with the QuickBooks family. So I'm going to hop over to Chrome, because Chrome is by far the best application to use QuickBooks on. So I'm just going to take you through how I would log in. Well, normally I would log in through my saved bookmark. So I do want to explain to you the importance and the ease of actually creating a bookmark. So I'm going to log into QuickBooks Online as how you would. Now, if you want to save this, you can see over here, I've got a couple of browsers already saved. It makes it really simple when I want to hop from customer tab to report tab or just to the main dashboard. I don't actually have to keep going back to my dashboard. I can just hop from menu to menu. So with this one here, to actually save a browser, you would obviously just go and bookmark it. Now, you can call that anything. That could just be a QBO login page, whatever you want to call it, and done. Now, if you're not sure, see how it appears here? If you're not sure where to go for your browsers, just go to your bookmarks, and you want to show bookmarks on the bar. Mine previously weren't showing. I was wondering where are they, and it was because I had turned them off previously. Okay, so let's log straight in. And today I'm using a training file called ATC Party Hire and Events. Has nothing to do with All That Counts because we don't provide party hire and events. So I've shown you how to create a bookmark. I've shown you how to log in. What I want to do now is take you through the company settings. Now, I know this is Money In, but I do want to take you through some of the crucial parts of familiarising yourself with your QuickBooks file. And you all know about the cogwheel. So if you log over to your cogwheel, this is where all your company settings are maintained. So we've got the company tab. Now this is where you would obviously upload your company logo. Now this logo is what appears on your invoice. So make sure it's of good quality and test it also in your sales invoice format. Now the company name, that is the name that will appear on your invoice as well. The legal name is actually the legal name. It does not appear on your invoice as such. So as you can see here, I've just said that this is the trustee. So it's the legal entity name, but the company name I want to appear on the invoice is ATC Party Hire. Your contact information, again, you may have a street address and a PO box as well. And also you may have 2 different types of email addresses as well. So obviously the company email address will appear on your invoice and your phone number. We're not going to talk much today about accounting methods. It's more about the invoicing aspect. So classes do affect your invoices, because if you do want to track classes or locations, now classes are typically, I guess, if you want to run a P&L on a particular job in your business, I guess you can imagine it like it's job costing. And locations, you may have offices in different states, or you may have stores in different states, or so that's the difference as well. There's 2 layers of tracking. Classes, I guess, to remember, if I click on this, classes, you can assign a class to every line in the transaction, whereas a location tracking, it's just one tracking per transaction. So you've got more, I guess, functionality with classes than locations. Okay, so in the Sales tab, this is where you would customize the look and feel of your invoice. Now, if I was to click on that, I have a standard template that I can go in here and I can edit. Okay, now here is the logo that I was mentioning before, and here is the name, ATC Party Hire. Now, it will pick up your address. If I had the address was in it, but I don't think I have the address in the main file. Okay, so design, you can go through here and you can change the look and feel of your invoice. You can go green. You can also change, let's have a look at the design, select a different font. So there's lots of different things you can do. I would just suggest you play around with that until you come up with a design that you like. Now, this is the most simplistic way to actually design your invoice. You can also import a style as well using docx forms. Okay, so that is there are some YouTube videos on how to do that as well, but if anyone wants further information on how to actually import a style, feel free to reach out. So that's how you change the look of your invoice. Let's just go back to company settings, because I actually want to take you through the rest of these sections here. So sales form content. Okay, so if we click on here, here is where you set the company payment terms for your business. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't override that when you're actually creating an individual invoice as well. So if your company payment terms are, 15 days or 14 days, so let's just add a new one here, 14 days, you can change that. And I can put 14 days here, or I can put, 30 days due the next month if issued within X amount. So I'm just going to save that. So that's how easy it is to create your own payment terms as well. Shipping, if you are sending product, you may want to tick that as well, because you can also then have a shipping address on your invoice. Custom fields, you've got up to 3 custom fields you can create on your invoice. If you didn't want those custom fields to be made public on an invoice, but just internal capture, this is where you would tick or deselect. Custom transaction numbers. Now, if you tick that, you will be able to see the invoice number on your invoice. When you untick that, you won't see the actual invoice appear, but it will default to the next invoice number anyway. Now, there are cases for and against this. Sometimes I don't like it on there because it allows people to change the numbers. So just be mindful before you turn that on, who is doing your invoice If it's you and you're in control, then that's fine. But if you've got someone else doing your invoice, you may just want to make sure that they don't touch the number and sequence of your invoice. We tend to turn it on when we're doing some backlog for our clients and entering a backlog of invoice data where we need to name it a number. We need to give it a number from the old accounting system. But once we've done that, we tend to turn that off so the system takes care of itself and creates its own invoice number. But that is a personal choice. Service date, if you're providing services, professional services, and you need to capture your date and the client needs to see it on your invoice, then you would definitely tick that as well. Again, if you're offering discounts and you take deposits, you want to see that on your invoice, you would also tick those as well. Now I will just save those so we can see what they all look like on an invoice. Products and services, we're going to cover this under products and services, but again, if you are selling, well, you don't have to be selling inventory per se, you could just be creating item codes for ease of invoicing rather than type in the same information over and over. And again, you can show that on your invoice with quantity and a rate, you can turn that on, or also inventory can be turned on and off. Now, because this is a training file, I have turned it on. Doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be on, but it is on for the purpose of this training file. Messages, things you want to put on your sales form. So you can actually create a standard generic message that, that will appear on your email when you send your invoices. I've got clients who, you know, it goes for pages and pages with some terms and conditions on it as well. So you can put in here whatever you like. And you can also send yourself a blind copy as well, or CC someone else within the organisation. Okay, so this can also apply to quotes as well. So you can put a message in here as well. Reminders. Again, this is when you want to send a reminder. Like I said, money in is very important to any business. So when you're sending a reminder for people to pay you, you can have a standard message in here as well. Okay, so let's move along to advanced, the advanced tab. And here I just want to cover off the difference when you are setting up your QuickBooks file. You want to make sure that your default tax rate section is what it should be. If you like to invoice exclusive of tax, then make sure exclusive is selected. If you're like me and I like to do things inclusive, then I have inclusive. Or if your business isn't registered, if you were registered for GST at one point and you're no longer registered, you want to make sure that everything is out of scope so you don't have to manually override that tax code. So that's where you would set that up. Okay, let's go. What do we have here? Further down, we're going to cover the chart of accounts also shortly. Automation, again, what automation allows, if you've got credit notes in the system, you can automatically have that set that it automatically applies to the next outstanding invoice. Now, if your business does a lot of credit notes, you've got a lot of invoices and it may get a bit messy where you're not necessarily applying a credit note to the oldest invoice, then you may not want to turn that on. You may want to be in control of how you actually apply your credits. That's generally how I like to work with my clients anyway. But again, it's a personal choice, guys. Copying quotes to invoices. So you can, once a quote has been accepted, it will automatically copy to an invoice if you have this ticked on. Okay, and automatically apply bill payments. That's not, we'll cover that in the money out section. So time tracking. Now remember, time tracking is only available in the Plus version. So if any of you are using the Simple Start or Essentials, it's not available. So you can't track time. And the same with inventory as well. I should have mentioned that earlier. That's only available in the Plus version. But if you are using it, you would obviously need to turn that on and enable it. Add service filter timesheets and make single time activity billable to customer, where if you want to recharge your time, QuickBooks will automatically, once you've added a time billing, once you've added some time billing hours in, it will automatically create what's called like an unbilled invoice that you can bill out. Okay, currency, date format, that's all standard stuff. So let's head over to chart of accounts. So we've gone through the company settings. I've just given you a brief overview of the things that affect your invoicing and sales. So over to my dashboard. Again, if I wanted to go over to my dashboard, because I have all my browsers listed, I could just click over to my dashboard here. Now we want to go to our chart of accounts. And my chart of accounts, I can actually access it a number of ways. Obviously through my cogwheel again, through chart of accounts, or through my accounting tab on the left-hand side here, chart of accounts. So let's say you want to create an income account. You're starting up a new income line of business. So what you would do is you would go to new, and the category type would be income. So until you can see income, and the detail type, it really depends on what kind of income it is. Is it income that's generated from your retail side of business, wholesale? Is it a service fee, a sale of product, or is it just general? A lot of the times I just tell my clients, just stick it in general if you're unsure, okay? All else fails, stick it into general. Let's give it a name. Let's just call this sale of, let's just say, what can we call it? Let's just go income teddy bears. I don't know why I thought of teddy bears, but let's just say we're starting to sell teddy bears. Now it's really important here that you also give it a GST classification. Now if I choose my drop down, now if this income type is GST free, if I was a dentist and or in the medical industry and I was selling my services, I obviously would be GST free. If I was exporting overseas, this product item was being exported, it would be GST free export. For this case, it does have GST on it, so we're going to select GST 10%. So it means every time I choose that income account, the GST has already been mapped to it. I can give this another description as well. If I wanted to, just give it another description, it doesn't appear anywhere but just for my own personal use. So save and close. Now if I want to look for that, I just have to type in income and I can now see income teddy bear. It's right here, and I can also at any stage run a report on all invoices that have income teddy bear on it. So that's how you set up an income account on your chart of accounts. Okay, so now we're going to race over to the sales center. It's the sales tab over here. And again, I can just go over here to my customer tab or my sales transactions. So now we're over at the sales center. Now this is where all the magic really happens, okay? So we have here on the top hand, on the top here, we have 4 menus. All sales will give you a listing of all your sales that you have done. I like this screen because it has a filter. It enables me to view my invoices how I want to view them. So let's just look at the money bar section here. So the light blue are quotes. Any quotes you have in the system will appear here. And if I click on that, it'll just take me to all my quotes in the system. These 2 have been accepted. I also have unbilled activity. This goes back to the time billing. So if you do have the plus version, I have some hours booked in here, an invoice that's been raised. Let's just go into this one here, just to show you what I mean. So let's just, this wants to add a project. Let's just forget about projects for now. I told you, what did I tell you from the start? Things change all the time overnight, so we're not always up to speed with what's going on. But if I go start invoice, this has turned my time billing. I've actually got a linked transaction here, which is a charge that I've actually done through the time billing. So it's actually now creating an invoice to my customer from one of my bookkeepers who did some bookkeeping services. So that's where the time billing factor comes in. And that's also, do you want to leave? Yes, I want to leave without saving. But going back to our sales tab here, our money bar, that's great if you do have unbilled services. It's like I use this as my WIP report, okay, work in progress. If you want to forecast what you need to invoice out in the future and you've booked those charges in, it's a great little tool. Overdue, obviously that's self-explanatory. That gives you what's 21 days overdue and my open invoices as well. So if I hover over that, it can just tell me that I have 25 open invoices and no one's paid me in the last 30 days. Okay, so that's our money bar. Just wanted to explain that to you, and the all sales. Now, I have a filter here called unbilled income. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And that again will give me all my invoices. Why I like this page, I can create a filter and I can view my invoices any way I want to. I can look at all my quotes, my invoices, sales receipts, we'll go through those and adjustment notes. Money received, you know, what has recently been paid. But let's just say I just want to look at my invoices and I can pick a status. I only want to see my open invoices. That really doesn't, the delivery method is really, it depends on how you send it, but I guess that shouldn't matter. And maybe I just want to look at my open invoices for this financial year, or I can change my dates. I may only want to look at it for a particular client. I can also choose a particular client, or I just want to see everyone. So I go apply. So there you go. I now have a screen that's just of open invoices. Now these are the standard headers that you see on this view. But if I go to my cog settings here, I can actually take some stuff off or add things in. Now, I'm not too interested in, let's say, I don't really care for the attachment because there's nothing there, so I may get rid of that. I'm not really concerned about the GST either, and I'm more concerned about the total. But I also want to know if there is a job name to this, but there isn't. So let's go email. So if I click on that again, that gives me a whole new view of what I'm looking at. Now you'll just need to obviously adjust the email. I can be here for a bit, but if I was to adjust that, there we go, I can see the email as well. So you can play around with this. Whatever you want to see, you can see or not. The other beauty is I can export this list to Excel as well. Okay, so it's in Excel, I can export it. So I'll just show you what that looks like. Okay, so it's in Excel, and it doesn't come with any formulas, but you can obviously add formulas and do what you need to do. Okay, so that's the all sales. The invoices is great if you've got a whole heap of invoices and you want to send them out in bulk. So you've gone in, you've done all your invoicing, you've generated it, and these are your daily invoices, and let's just say you want to send them all. So you can send those invoices out as an email in bulk as well, or print them out. So if I just go back to all, let me just have a look at something here. Again, I can do from this screen too. Okay, back on the all sales page, I can do a couple of things as well in my batch actions where I can send reminders. This is very powerful. Rather than individually going in and sending a reminder, you can actually send a a batch reminder to all your clients, okay? That's great. So that saves a lot of time, because we don't have a lot of time as our small business owners. So let's just have a look where we're up to. Now, guys, it's 5:26. If anyone wants to grab a glass of water or a tea or a coffee, feel free. Okay, well, let's go over to customers. And let's enter a brand new customer. Okay, so new customer. We all love new customers. Okay, so new customer. I can create a new customer from my sales menu, or I can also do it from the point of when I'm actually invoicing, and I'll take you through that as well. But if I click on this drop down, I can also import customers as well. So if you are coming in from another accounting system, you may want to import your existing customer base. New customer. So new, let's just give this a title. Let's call it a Ms. and let's call it Sandra. No middle name. Sandra Kleenex. I don't know. Company, let's call it Kleenex Tissues, named after Sandra Kleenex. Now, the difference here with the company and the display name. Now, I can change that to appear as Kleenex Tissues, or I can also have the company name to be something different. So let's just say you had, let's just say that you didn't want the company name to appear on your dashboard as Kleenex Tissues. You could call it something else, but the display name can also be something different. So it's quite unique to QuickBooks. So if ever you feel that you've got a situation where you want to, say, use the person's name instead of the company name because you associate that client more so with the individual rather than the company, that's a good example as well. So your address will just go in here. So your PO box, whatever, company, sorry, city, town, you just put your address all in here. So all that goes in here. We'll just say New South Wales. We'll just put where I'm based in Baulkham Hills, 2153. You don't have to, I tend not to worry about the country unless I am dealing in multi-currency and I like to see where my customers are coming from. Email address, so you put an email address in here. I'll just put mine in. And obviously you'd put all this other information here. Is it a sub-customer? Okay, so let's just say you were working with a franchise group and you only had to invoice that head franchise, or you were dealing with a group of companies and the parent company was paying the bill. You could then say that the parent company is, let's just say the parent company is All That Counts, and you want to bill this, you want to bill Kleenex Tissues with the parent or with this customer as an individual. So you actually have the choice. So you can still generate an invoice, but that invoice will be generated to the parent company, not to the individual. If you had a shipping address, that's where you would put it in there as well. Notes, if you've got anything specific about the customer that you want your the rest of your team to see. Tax info, you could put an ABN number in here. If you press verify, that'll just take you to the ABR website. Payment and billing. This is where you could just put, this is where I was saying before, if you wanted to override your terms, so if you've got your company terms are 14 days, but you want to give this client a special 30 days, you can override the terms in here. Okay, opening balance is useful when you're migrating from one system to another. Okay, and attachments. Let's just say your client has signed a deal with you for you to provide services. You could attach a copy of the contract here. So you can start using your QBO as a database for things on your customer as well. It can be, look, a real mini CRM system, and by no means am I saying that it is a CRM, but if your business only needs to attach some documents, then this is a great place to start rather than having it in all different places. And if your team members need to see these documents, it's also ideal. So that's how we create a customer. Okay, now we've gone through the money bar. Now I want to take you through how we actually create some product codes as well, because it's quite important that we do the product codes because we're going to invoice some product codes. So I'm going to go back to my cogwheel here and I'm going to go to products and services. Okay, so this file, as I said before, was set up with inventory. You may not have inventory, so disregard this out of stock or low stock, because if you don't have inventory, you won't see any of this. So I also have the option to import products as well. So we're going to create. So I have the choice here to create an inventory. An inventory item is obviously something you buy and sell, and you need to track the stock on hand. Non-inventory, you only want to buy and sell it, so you want to capture the transactions when you do buy it and you do sell the same product, but you don't necessarily want to track stock on hand for it. And service, again, it's just, I guess, it's a service item. It could be bookkeeping services, or as the example states, landscaping type services, anything you can think of, architectural services, design services. So we're going to create a non-inventory item and an inventory item for this purpose. So we're going to call it teddy bears because we have an income account called teddy bears. I can give it a SKU item as well. I don't have to. I can even also group it with a category. So if I had different styles of teddy bears, I could create a category called brown teddy bears, white teddy bears, black teddy bears. You kind of get the drift. So I can group my teddy bears into categories. Now, I sell this product service to my customers. Yes, I do. And I can put my description here, teddy bear, I'll call that a brown teddy bear, and I'll just change that, teddy bear brown. Now, I want to sell that for $100. And I want to assign that to my income account called income teddy bears. So every time I sell that teddy bear, it's going to appear in my profit and loss under the income account teddy bears. Is it inclusive of tax or is it exclusive? No, this is exclusive. If I tick inclusive, it's $100, but I'm not going to get 100. I'm going to get $100 less the GST. So let's just say I want to clear 100. Now I also purchased these from a wholesaler, and I purchased them as a same thing. So teddy bear brown, I could have just copied and pasted that, and I only purchased these for $20, but I'm selling them for 100. Now again, I probably should have a cost of sales account called teddy bear cost of sales, but I don't at the moment. But I still want to capture the cost to a cost of sales purchases, and it's GST on non-capital. So I save and close that. I now have an item code called teddy bear. It's a non-stock item because I only buy when customers order them, and I don't keep stock of them. If I was keeping stock of them, I would go in and create an inventory item. Let's just create a different one, teddy bear white. And I would now have to assign it to an inventory asset account. My initial quantity on hand is 0. And as at today's date, and every time I get to 5, I want you to tell me that I'm low on stock when I'm invoicing. So that's really, it's very similar, but the only difference is I'm actually tracking it as an asset on my balance sheet. Okay, so we won't worry about that. But if I'm doing a service item, as you can see, there's no, it's just a service item, but I'm not tracking the buy and sell. But I can also change it here as well. So once I'm in here, I can change. So sales information, again, very similar. So non-inventory and service is very similar. Okay, so let's head over and do a quote. So this little add button here, you can do pretty much everything from this plus button. So everything on the left-hand side here is your customer. So anything to do with money in is on this left-hand side. So we're just going to, I'm going to take you through a quote. We're going to quickly do a quote here. So let's just Kleenex tissues. And as you can see here, like when we set up Kleenex tissues, I made it a sub-customer of all accounts, okay? So we want to invoice Kleenex tissues. Well, we want to do a quote, I should say. And I can have all my quotes entered as pending, accepted, closed, or rejected. But obviously when we're doing a quote, they're all pending. So I'm not doing a service date because I'm actually quoting on some teddy bears. Okay, so, and I'm quoting on 50 teddy bears. And as you can see, the GST comes up because it's a sale. It's not GST. Well, when you're doing a sale, you've got no choice but GST, the 10%. So you don't even have to think about it when you're in the sales screen. It's either GST free or GST or a GST export, or out of scope, you're not registered. Class, if you wanted to report on profitability, how much you're selling to this customer, you could create a class item as well, or a location. This is a quote number, so 5,500, and I can email that directly to the client, save and send. And here is my quote. And again, I can override this at any time and I can send it and close it. So it's gone. It's now gone to my inbox. So the client's come back and they've accepted it. So we can go back to our all sales and we can now look at our quotes. I now have a quote in here for 5,500. Customer has accepted it, so I can go in and start that invoice. And you can see there is a linked transaction, which is the quote. And so now I have an invoice ready to go to the customer. Now, if we only ended up sending 40, we can obviously override that. Okay, so that is now an invoice and I can save and close that. And that is the invoice number that gets automatically generated. So these are, remember I mentioned to you in the setup that we had some fields. Yes, now I'm going to save and send this to show you, because a question's popped up, can I send an attachment? Now, not to this, I'm just going to send and close that. Now that's gone now, that's in my overdue. Now, here is another good, I want to take you here as well. I've just done an invoice and I need to change it. So this little scopy thing here, I can go here and I can see my most recent transactions that I've done, my quote number and my invoice number. So I want to change something. I also wanted to talk to you about the online payments as well. So in this instance, we don't actually have PayPal set up, but your customers can actually pay you directly online using PayPal they don't even have to have a PayPal account because they can sign in as a guest and pay you as well. I know from personal experience that having this PayPal integration with QuickBooks has helped us with our cash flow, because all the little invoices we do and the one-off training that we provide, it enables our clients to pay much quicker, instantly as well. So if you haven't set up the PayPal link, I would suggest you look at PayPal or even Square as a integrated payment gateway as well to your website, or just PayPal as a standalone payment method as well. Okay, you asked me about attachments. I've had a mental blank, and yes, you can attach everything, so to a quote, and that will be emailed along with your invoice or quote to the customer. So that answers your question, perfect. Okay, now what you can also do, because I'm a believer of, you know, not doing things twice. Let's say I needed to do another invoice. I can very easily come down to my More button here. This is great. Your More button is where you've made a mistake, you need to delete it. So you would just delete the transaction. I'm not a fan of deleting after the month, but if you've just done the transaction then and there, and you know you want to delete it, by all means, just hit the delete button. If you want to avoid it and you're not a fan of deleting, again, it just keeps an audit trail of the transaction, the original, and you can see that the transaction has been voided. Copy, love this, because I can just do exactly what I've done without re-entering the data. I can change the customer details. I can change, you know, teddy bear from brown to white, but you've got the framework of that invoice already set up. So that's great as well. Make recurring. If I wanted to invoice this customer every month, or it could be for anything else, let's just say I'm an IT company and I've got hosting services, I may want to change that to IT hosting subscription. So I might be selling subscription type services. I could schedule it, or I can set a reminder to say in 2 days in advance, I want you to create an invoice to Bacardi. Okay, that's the email. I can also say automatically send the emails or print it later. I can give it my intervals, how often I want the invoice to be generated, weekly, monthly, yearly, and when I want to start that as well. So I want to start that on the 1st of September, and I want to end by, because it's a 12-month contract, I want to end that by the 31st of the 8th, 2018. Okay, I can give it more details here. I can change that to say, I have no idea what I have in here, but let's just say it's bookkeeping services. Or it could be, I can also add a product code on the fly as well, which is what I wanted to show you. So I can add a service item and I can call it hosted, let's say hosted website. And I can just copy that. I don't sell this, I just want to do this at $150 a month. And again, I can allocate that to a income account called hosted services, but I'll just put that to other for now. And it's exclusive of GST, and GST 10% because it's a sale that I'm doing. Save and close. So I've done that on the fly as I'm going along. I can do that with invoicing as well. What I'm doing here is creating a recurring schedule template. I can delete this line because I'm actually doing hosted website. And I can also have an attachment to this invoice every time it goes out. I can also put a standard message on here as well every time my invoice goes out. Thank you for your business. Or if I want a standard, so if I want on the statement memo as well, this is a really good thing. I have a client who is a retirement village, and they don't issue invoices, they only issue statements at the end of the month that act as an invoice. So we tend to put the invoice number, or we tend to put a brief description on the statement memo. So when we're issuing that statement, they can actually see exactly what every invoice is about. So I could put in here hosted website, and on my statement, they will see the invoice number and next to it hosted website. So just it's great practice to get into if you feel that if you do issue statements quite often. So we save that template, and that template is now ready to go. It's going to automatically prompt me that it needs to be sent every month. So that's an area you should play around with as well and see how you can streamline and cut back some of the recurring work you're doing. Print and preview, self-explanatory. Have a look at your invoice template, and if you don't like it, again, you can go back into your company settings and change it. Now, adjustment notes, how to do a credit note. Again, everything you need to do is under your create button. So you want to do an adjustment note. Now, that would be like to have a credit note that needs to be applied to an invoice. We could apply a credit note to, let's just say, Kleenex tissues, the 5 we need to provide. Credit note for some of those teddy bears we just did. 5 of them were faulty, and really that's all we need to do, and save. I don't need to send it actually, because so I'll close that, but I now have a credit note. Okay, so how do you apply that credit note? So when I want to receive a payment from teddy bears, not teddy bears, it's getting late guys, I guess, from Kleenex, you can see here I have the credit note here. So the original invoice was $5,500. Let's say they only paid me $5,000, and I'm taking up the credit note, and I'm taking up the adjustment note and the credit note. So I need to put that as 5,500, and that to 5 amount received. Now I need to, let's just do this, untick. So I'm going to receive that, and I'm going to receive that. So the total I've received is 4,950 through my bank, and that is how I apply the credit note to the invoice at the time of payment, and I save and close that. Okay, I've shown you how to receive payment manually. I've shown you how to do an adjustment note. I do want to show you how to do a receive payment through the bank feeds as well. Do you want to leave? Yes. So the bank feeds, it all takes place in the banking screen here. So if you are responsible for receipting your own income and you don't have a bookkeeper or office admin person doing it, this is where you would go as well. So Julie, this is a good example I can show you right now here. Let's just say you've put that $1,000 into the business yourself, okay? So most transactions will come in as uncategorized income. Please guys, do not accept uncategorized income, otherwise you're going to have a P&L that just has income in uncategorized. So let's just say this has come in from Julie. We'll just add, and I can do a very quick add here without having to go in, and I'm just going to go save. And I will have a loan account. So here we go. You will have a director's loan account, okay, set up. I set up all my loan accounts as a cash account only because I want to see them on the dashboard. I clearly understand when it's tax time, the accountant will move it to either, depending on how the loan account looks, as an asset or a liability. But I would just put it in there. It's obviously out of scope because you've injected money into the business. It's an out of scope sale. Yes, I set the director loan to as a default for out of scope. Now, if you wanted to, you can put some more information in here. Loan by director. And that's how I would allocate it off the bank feed. And I would just go add. So now if I go to my most recent transactions again, this little, oh, forget the name, what do you call them? Magnifying glass. And I look at my deposit, it comes through as a deposit, okay? So you can see here, don't look at here, that's selected, but I'm looking at this transaction here. I can see it as a deposit. Now, if I don't want to do it that way, I can do it another way as well. I can go into my create button and I can do a I can do a bank deposit manually or a sales receipt as well. Okay, sales receipt is when you want to issue a receipt for something. Someone's paid you instantly, no invoice required. So we just type in Julie and we just go, yep, I'm going to go to the loan account, not to actually, with all your sales, you do have to have you have to have a product code set up that links to where you want it mapped to. So in this case, we would need to create a product called Loan Director and add that, and it's a service. And I wouldn't need to put anything else in here. Oh, I think I've just come, yep. And I can just map that to direct a loan account and save and close that. And now I can receive that $1,000 that I injected into the business on the 9th of January, and I can save and close that. So if I now go to my dashboard, I can quickly see here where my loan account is up to as well. All right, so let's keep moving along. We've done sales receipt. We've received a, I wanted to also show you how you allocate an invoice off a bank feed. We're almost there. So again, off my dashboard, I can also access my bank accounts, or I can access it off the banking tab here. So I'm just going to scroll down until I can see here a money received. So I've got $412 coming in from a Gloria Jeans. Now if I go find match, I can see now I have $402 sitting here from Gloria Jeans. And that's all I need to do. And I can go save. Now, 99% of the time, you will see an auto match if the invoice and the dates match exactly the same. You will see a green box that will say match. Now, I don't have any on this, like here, match. That sales receipt, Julie, we just did, is matching 100% to that transaction on the bank feed. So all you have to do is go match. It's 100% match. Okay. Now we've spoken about PayPal. I think it's a great option to look at. I do want to demo the app very quickly for you before you guys have to head off. So just bear with me while I just mirror that onto my screen for you. So I'm logging into, so the QuickBooks app is a wonderful, if you are running a mobile business and you're doing lots of quotes, I would definitely look at downloading the app to run your business. So, okay. So you can all see my phone now on the screen. Okay, so again, we're using the same file, the party hire and events. We want to do a quote. So I just go to the quotes button and I want to do a quote. Kleenex are here. So this is everything we've just done in this, the demo file is also appearing on my app as well. So quote number, the quote date, expiration, I can give it an expiration date as well. I can give it a location, it's New South Wales. I can give it a job name, you know, I can give it a, you know, we can give it a job name, we can give it a contact, and I can add a line. So again, I want to quote on those wonderful teddy bears. Okay, the tax code defaults, I can give it a class as well. ABC project, which means every time, which means I could have a project called ABC project, and I want to know how, you know, what I've sold and what I've purchased in teddy bears. If I was construction, obviously it'd be great for a construction company, you know, what it's cost me to build something, or a landscaping company. So I can add that to my quote, and I can also add several lines, as you can see. I can save that. And you can see here, I can get a signature. I could be on site and I could be quoting there and then, and I can get them to sign and accept the quote. And they can put their name in here as well. Okay. And I can also, at the same time, if I've done the job at the same time, why not convert it to an invoice then and there? I don't have to, but I'm just showing you how easy it is as well. A quote and an invoice all done, and the invoice number will be assigned. So there you go. We can send the invoice, so it's done. So it's done on my phone, but now I need to send it to them as an email. Okay, and there you go. They can see it. Now, if I had that if I had the PayPal function as well set up, there would be a big fat green button that says Pay Now. And all they would have to do is when they open it on their phone, press Pay Now, and you get your money instantly. Okay, so think about that. If you're in that kind of business that, you know, you would benefit from getting your money instantly. I know that's a silly question. We all would benefit. But yeah, just have a look at that PayPal function now. So I'm sending that. And that invoice has gone. And you can also see when that person has viewed it, it will come up green with the tick as well, that it's been viewed. And when it's paid and deposited, likewise. So what's here? I can preview, I can email, I can redo all those things. I can even print it and copy it. If I need to change anything, I just press the pencil and edit it as well. So you can pretty much run your business off your phone as well. So these are obviously because this was an invoice we did earlier, and you can see now it's closed because we applied the payment. That was a quote, I should say. So let's go back here, look at our customers. So if you're out on the road and you need some information on your customers, you know, their information is all in here as well. And you can see you're going out, you're visiting Fast and Furious designers. Well, hey, you know, they owe you a fair bit of money as well. So you're informed, you're in control when you've got your QuickBooks app working for you as well. It's a wonderful app. And I would highly recommend, even if you are desk bound and you are doing most of your stuff, you know, through your browser on your computer or iPad, definitely download this, because also you've got access, you know, the bank feeds. You can create products and services on the fly as you go as well. You know, you can look at the chart of accounts, you can add new accounts as well. The best is you can also see how your business is doing. So you've got some reports here as well, this year to date. So you can put a custom date in, and you can also produce a balance sheet as well. So that's the app. Okay, so you can do so much in it. So that was just a bit of an intro. So I'm just going to quickly hop back over to the QuickBooks browser. And I just want to show you some of the reports that you may need whilst you're using QuickBooks. So in the reports section, we have the recommended that generally comes up, accounts AR aging, which is, you know, where you would actually look to see who owes you money. So again, there's not much you can do here. Any report you go into, any screen or report, I always encourage you to go to your settings tab, because there is so much more that you can potentially see or not see just by going into the settings tab. And again, if you want to export to Excel or PDF, you can do that as well. If you want to email directly that report, you could go save it as a PDF or email it as well. Again, that's great as well. So if you want to email it directly to someone, you don't have to export it and then save it. You can do everything from the software. So back to report list, your profit and loss, that's obviously what you want to see as well. So I'm just going to go all dates because I just want to show you the teddy bear stuff that we did. So here you can see the income for teddy bears. Again, I can drill down. I want to know what this is made up of. I can see the invoices and the adjustment note as well that we raised. Okay, so you can drill down in most places in the reports as well. There are all reports here. So you've got all your headings in here. So you've got your review sales. So I encourage you to familiarize yourself with this, because, you know, if you're putting all this data in the system, if you want to report it, you want to measure it. So if you want to start measuring sales by customers, sales by product, or transactions, or sales by class, then I encourage you to make sure that you're capturing that data so you can start running meaningful reports on your business. If it's not going to get measured, it's no point doing it. I'm a big believer of that. There's no point creating extra work for you guys if it ain't going to get measured. But sales by customer summary, again, You know, I can put my date range in here. It comes with standard date ranges, or you can feel free to put a custom date range. I can look at totals or even by months. If I want to know what, oh, this is going to be a big report because I've said no. I just want to say last financial year. So last calendar year or financial year, however you run report. As you can see here, I can see my sales by customer by month. So this is great for budgeting purposes as well, or if you just want to know why, Bacardi hasn't bought from you in the last 6 months. So it's really great to start managing your sales team as well to see what's going on. So information does give you a bit of power, and you need to leverage off that information. Again, I can compare last year as well, these select periods. I can have a year to date or a previous. I can look at what the percentage change is in dollars or percentages. And again, there's not much you can do here either, but I always encourage you to check on the cog because maybe there's something extra you can add. In the customize, you can say, right, I don't want to see any cents, only without cents. So if I run that report, I prefer to see reports without cents. And you can edit your headers as well. So if you wanted to give this another name, you can also add notes to the bottom. So let's just say, Findex, low sales due to, and you can just make some notes in there as well. And I escape out of that and those notes are there. Now I can save that report as well. I can save the customization. And I can create a report group to say my sales reports. You can call it whatever you like, and I can add that. And I want to create sales, and you can just give that a name to set current, and you can share that with everyone in your organization or not. So I save that. If I go back to my report list, in my custom reports, I now have a header called My Sales Reports. And I can run that anytime. I've designed a sales report specifically for my business, and each one of you will have different needs. So look at your needs, look to see what kind of reports you want to get, measure in your business, and then run with it. As you can see here, I've just built some, monthly key reports, sales by customer summary, sales by product, and I've attached them to monthly reports. P&L as a percentage of income, and you can start grouping your reports in different sections as well. So as important as it is to invoice and collect the money, it's really important to interpret your data as well, so all of you can look at growing and scaling your business and utilizing your numbers to do that. I hope you all got something out of it. And look, if you feel that we've rushed any parts of it, feel free to hop on and schedule another session. Drive home safely if you're still in the office or if you're at home. If anyone's got no more questions. Robin, how do you edit a new invoice template? Oh, that's right, Robin. Okay, so Robin, I'm just going to hop over to the cog wheel. I can go to custom form styles or custom settings, and I'm going to go edit. Now content, I hop over to content, okay, and I click over the activity section, okay. So I know it's not as black and white as it looks, so you do have to click over so if I want to adjust the top section, I click on that. If I want to adjust the middle section, I click on that, and here I can deselect if I want the SKU to appear or if I don't want it to appear. All right, guys, I'm going to bid you farewell and good night. If anyone does have any more questions, feel free to reach out. I will quickly put my details back up here again for you. Okay, so if anyone wants to contact me, I can be contacted at Lielette@allthatcounts or our phone number. So feel free if you've got any further questions or if you need any help with setting up your QuickBooks properly. Good night, everyone. Thank you.